Hey, what's going on, MKW fans? Another edition of Chinese Wrestling Sit Down. My name is Leung, and this is Chinese Wrestling Sit Down is where we interview the most prominent people in Chinese pro wrestling, talk about Chinese pro wrestling, and amongst other things. Today, or tonight in your time, we have a very special guest, Zombie Dragon. He is the MKW World Champion, the head trainer of MKW Wrestling. Zombie Dragon, how are you doing, man?
Doing as good as I can under the circumstances.
So where are you in China exactly? Which part?
I am actually in Zhuhai,
Zhuhai.
China right now. Yeah,
Okay.
it's southern China, very close to Macau and Hong Kong.
Okay, that's good. Is it close to Shenzhen?
Yes, it is close to Shenzhen as well.
Okay, that's pretty convenient then. But
Yeah,
pretty
very.
far away from Harbin though, right? It's like still you just gotta take a plane to go to Harbin, right?
Yeah, I would have to take a plane, and I don't want to quarantine again, so not taking a plane.
But you wear a mask all the time, right? You should be okay.
All right, and I did test negative.
Oh, so you actually got tested.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. So how's the quarantine going there in your city?
In my city, in Zhuhai at least, it's been pretty good. Everybody's taking precautions. There's no discrimination against anyone. It's very open. If I want to go out to the park or to the beach, it's not that many people, so you don't run that much of a risk. People seem to only go out when they need to or for work, so it's actually really, really chill here versus a lot of the other cities.
Oh, so no shutdown there or partial shutdown?
Partially, it's not much of a shutdown. It seems like because I've been to Guangzhou and different places, those places were really locked down. But here, it seems like it's more open up. I guess being closer to the borders, they wanted it a little more open.
Oh, I see. So I just want to let all fans know that the comment section is open. I know last time a lot of people shared this video, which we appreciate very much. But if you want to comment for me to see it, you actually have to go to facebook.com/mkwchina/live, that link there. Let's see. So a few people said hi to you or us. Paul Chow, Milan Holly, Lam Sun Vu from CWFH Fan News. Aziz.
Nice.
Aziz is asking why Adrian Gomez is not live. Yeah, I'm not sure. He might be watching right now. DC Channel said hi. So if you guys have any questions for Zombie Dragon, leave a comment below, and I will try to ask that. And yeah, let's go back to China. I mean, when I look at MKW, a lot of guys like Sam, Big Sam, Ash, they're already in China. But you, I believe you're the only one that actually got signed. You're from Atlanta. You got signed from the States to come to China. So I just want to ask, how did that all come about? Like, how did you meet Adrian? How did you get signed? And what did your moms might be watching right now? What did your family think about it? Because you're moving to a different country. I assume you don't speak Mandarin, so that's like a whole different world. Yeah, so a two-part question: how did that all come about? And what do your family and friends think?
All right, so it's actually a pretty funny story of how I got to China. So me and Uncle Money actually have a mutual friend. His name is Alex.
Yeah.
And I had been wrestling, I think about maybe 9-10 years at that point, maybe 9. And he came to my house and he said, I got a guy that I want you to train. And I said, okay, has he ever been in the ring? Anything? He said, no, he's as green as the grass we're standing on. And this guy turned out to be Uncle Money. And for his first match, we trained a bit, and we went to a show in some random part of Georgia, and I let him, win, beat me up, whatever. And he actually did pretty good for himself afterwards. And he went to China first. He he found MKW and he started wrestling. And I believe Adrian was in the market for a trainer because they wanted to open a pro wrestling school for MKW. And Uncle Money goes, well, I know this guy. He used to go by another character, but he goes by Zombie Dragon now. And he put Adrian in touch with me. And me and Adrian started talking back and forth. And I came to China in March. I think me and Adrian started talking in maybe late January. So I rushed and got, my passport, my visa, and, to their credit, MKW, helped me with all that stuff. Cause, this is, no pun intended, foreign to me, a lot of this stuff, but they helped me, every step along the way. My family was really supportive of it. Everybody, they couldn't wait. I was the, I guess, chosen one, leaving the flock, leaving the nest of Atlanta, going to Asia. And even now, I still keep in touch with my mom and, my grandma and son and everybody, and they're still very much supportive.
Yeah, what do you miss about Atlanta? I was there last year, actually. What do you miss about Atlanta?
Oh my God, the food!
Family, of course. The food. The fried chicken.
The fried foods, man. The snacks, the Krispy Kreme, the everything, all the food, all the junk food.
Don't they have a Krispy Kreme?
I miss a lot.
Don't they have a Krispy Kreme in China, I think? Or maybe it closed down. I don't know.
I didn't see one in China. The closest one I saw was, I want to say, Thailand and South Korea were the closest two that I remember.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's one in Hong Kong. Maybe.
There used to be one in Hong Kong, but I believe it closed down in like 2009, maybe. Because that's the time when I was there. And then, I think it closed down around that time. So, that's a long time ago. So, let's see. Mike said you're in Zhuhai. Come visit China, or sorry, come visit Guangzhou. Conspiracy.
I was in Guangzhou. Conspiracy. Oh, the flat guy.
AKA Conspiracy. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for him. Chairman Al says hi. Actually, that's gonna be my next, coming up question. Let's see. Hello, Adrian Gomez. I'm here. It's not part of the interview. I'll just pop one of these up. Let's see. Yeah, there's a little comment here.
All right, I see it. It says I didn't even know Zombie from Atlanta.
Atlanta. We're going to see a little bit more. Zombie Dragon, great talent who represent MKW all over Asia. Thank you for that, Lan Sunbu. Thank you for that. How do I get rid of this? Hang on a second.
Yes, I am
there it is.
An Atlanta native.
Atlanta GA. Yeah, and Chairman Al says hi, and that's going to be my next question. You defeated Michael Su back at Bash of the Bay. Congratulations, of course, back in I believe in December, winning the MKW World Championship. And I saw that the ending of that match. Chairman Al, what's going on there?
All right, so with Chairman Al, I don't know exactly what his deal is. He pretends like he wants to scout. Now, I will come clean and say, in Japan, sometimes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. Yeah. He was just an ally in the mix, and we had to work together. And we worked well in Japan. We did. But I made it specifically clear that I did not need his help here in mainland against Michael Su. I went undefeated in MKW for about 2 years without Chairman Al. So what do I look like using Chairman Al at the last stretch for the championship? If anything, that's the last time I would want Chairman Al in my corner. But he's been persistent. He's left me messages. He's called me. When are we going to do things again? When are you going to come here? When are you going to go chill in Shanghai? And we're not friends. And I think, Chairman Al is one of those snakes where he backs the horse that he knows is going to win. Because he was all about the stable. And a year ago, he wouldn't have anything to do with me. But after I built up a bit of a streak and he saw me firsthand in Japan, it was all of a sudden Team Zombie. So I don't really know what's going on with Al. I just can't deal with him, man. He's another breed. He's like that annoying ex-girlfriend or something. I can't put it into words. Our relationship.
The ex-girlfriend with money, though.
That's very
Got a
true.
bankroll.
Yeah.
So what happened in Japan? Tell the viewers what happened in Japan.
So in Japan, there's a promotion called PWA, which is Pro Wrestling Alive.
Pro Wrestling Alive,
they invited me, I want to say in August was the first time. August last year. Maybe it was before. Maybe April. We did a thing. Me, actually, Michael Sue was on that show. Mm-hmm. Chairman Al as well. And we were going against another company called Guts. You know, Guts are just, you know, ruthless guys. They tore up Heat Up promotion, and we decided that, okay, we need to get rid of these guys. We needed everybody on the front. We had Chairman Al. We had to put him to work. We had to put him to use. And if you look at everybody on that roster, who could you put Chairman Al with? You're not going to put him with the Japanese guys. You're going to put him with somebody he knows at least a little bit about, which was myself. So we agreed to settle our differences and work together. And believe it or not, in that first match, he didn't get involved. You know, he was out there for, I guess, moral support, but he didn't get involved. He played his role. He did exactly what he was supposed to do, which was intimidate the competition. The second time we went to Japan, it was the same thing. But see, this time he tried to get involved. That's where he messed up. I didn't need his help then. But he decided to climb up on the apron and grab my opponent. And what happened? He got misted in the face. That was the second time he's been misted in the face. So you would think after being misted in the face twice, the last thing you'd want to do is get involved in one of my matches. And lo and behold, in Shenzhen in December, he got involved in one of my matches. So again, Chairman Al, man, he is another breed. I don't understand how the stable tolerates him. Maybe it is just all the money.
Yeah, it's all about the money, and knowing Chairman Al, he's very persistent. He's not going to give up until he has you, who knows, part of the stable. Not sure what his plan is.
I don't know what his plan is, but I don't see me and Big Sam being friends or even allies anytime soon.
Sorry, hang on a second. My cat's messing around. Hang on a second.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, apologize for that. My cat's about to mess with my lights. I kept looking on that side.
Oh man.
So you talk about the mist. So that's always something very intriguing about you. You got the mist. You got like the fire. How did you learn those skills? I don't know if you can share this, but how did you learn how to do those things? And how did you develop it?
So when I was growing up watching wrestling, a lot of people see me do the mist and they go, "Oh, you know, Great Muta," which though he is one of my favorites, I actually got it from Tajiri.
Tajiri, yeah.
Because, you know, I'm a bit of a younger guy, but I got it from Tajiri, and the one thing that I took from him was he found creative ways to do it. Mm-hmm. And there was this random one that I don't know why I always remember this one. He was against, I want to say Scotty Too Hotty, and Scotty was getting ready to do the worm, and you know, he went around, and he's doing the spiel, and Tajiri missed him as Tajiri's laying on the ground. And I was like, man, if I were a wrestler, I would come up with like creative ways to do that move, but first I would have to learn it. And I have a lot of friends who have wrestled in Japan who've also done the mist, and I started to develop my own way of doing it. I said, why would I do it the way that they do it? That's comfortable for them. What's comfortable for me? You know, that I won't kill myself. I'm trying to hurt my opponent. And so just a lot of internet research, trial and error. There was a lot, especially with the fire. You know, that was unseen. Like, you know, a guy coming to the ring, you know, with no ignition flame, shooting a fireball out of his mouth. Like, how does someone, you know, pull that off? I had to get with, you know, special effects friends in Hollywood and, you know, say, how could I realistically pull this off? And I went I say about a year before everything was like so solid to where I believed in it. Like this is doable. I believe in this. So a lot of what you see took over a year. Like Zombie Dragon wasn't just, made, like Rome wasn't built in a day. Zombie Dragon, it took like a year or so just to build the base product. So the Mist and Fire, it took a lot to get there.
Hang on a second, my cat's messing around here. See, there's my cat.
Hello, cat.
Hey, hi. He's a big fan of you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? I'm gonna send your cat a Zombie Dragon cat T-shirt.
He's biting on my my cords here. Hey, all right. Sorry, that's why I keep looking around. He keeps like.
That's no problem.
I apologize for that. Yeah, he's a huge fan. He was like, while we were doing the test, he was already like looking at you for some reason. Maybe it's the mask. So that's another thing I was going to talk about. Your mask, it's very unique. It definitely doesn't look like it's something bought from Alibaba or Etsy. Like, where did you get the mask from?
All right, so I got a friend in Ohio who makes leather masks. He makes really good quality mask. And what happened was I have another friend named Eric who does like graphic designs, and he did the Zombie Dragon logo, which is the outline of the mask. And I sent that to a friend who makes leather masks, and he made a prototype. And I loved the prototype so much. I said, finish it, give me that. And I wrestled with that one for about a year. And then we redid it into making the one that I have now. So it actually came from a friend who's very skilled at making masks. I have an idea for a new line of mask. I want to try, someone else. It's probably going to be a prototype, maybe late 2020, maybe early 21, but it should be a very, very unique idea.
For sure. And is going to be any developments on maybe like a sellable product to the fans here? Maybe my cat over here? Maybe like a mask?
Yes. Yeah, I've actually been searching around for guys who can make, masks that are affordable for fans. You know what I mean? Like, you always see the Lucha mask and, the Rey Mysterio mask in every crowd. And I'm, thinking, well, what about Zombie Dragon mask in the crowd? Yeah. I want to figure out how to realistically do it, because again, this is, a very expensive mask. I want to make it to where the quality is still good, but not as expensive for fans, because I know little kids want to, play around with the Zombie Dragon mask, and, grown adults, maybe a collector's item. So I'm still searching around in China for different suppliers, but hopefully with this quarantine time that we have going around, I can finally pinpoint someone who can say, yes, I can do this for a reasonable price.
Yeah, selling masks is definitely like a very marketable thing to do, and a good way to make money for the company and yourself. So we got a question here, and just letting everyone know we are live here on Facebook, facebook.com/MKW China/live. We got a question. Actually, let me scroll back up here, see if there's anything. See, Chairman Al says, well, it's more of an Adrian Gomez question, I guess.
Yeah. Are you trying to make sure this has nothing to do with Adrian Gomez, Alan? I can guarantee you this is all me.
And it goes on to say, One Night in Tokyo, Zombie. That could be a movie.
Oh my God.
And then more Chairman Al. Admit it, Zombie, we together make things right all around the globe.
When Zombie Dragon and Chairman Al got together, a global pandemic happened. We should never team up together.
Oh, that's where the source of the COVID came from, eh?
Definitely Chairman.
And just to rub it into Sparasi here, and no, globe is not flat there, Mike.
I agree with that part.
Okay, so a question from Lamb's son. How difficult is it to actually wrestle with the mask on? It is a leather mask, correct?
Yes.
So must be
So
very
believe
hot.
it or not, yeah, it's definitely, well,
Yeah.
believe it or not, like my entire career, I've always been in mask. So for decade plus, always been a mask character. And I ended up just kind of developing that sense of awareness. People think wrestling with a mask is the same as wrestling without one. It's not. It's very, very different. And this mask, believe it or not, I would say is better than my Curry mask because the mouth is open, the back of the head is out to give the, I guess you could say, steam somewhere to go. My ears are open so I can hear. This mask is actually a lot better for me. And it's very protected. It's hard, very like armor, like hard armor leather. So it's not too difficult to wrestle with the mask, believe it or not. The last one, my prototype mask was a bit lighter. I think that one was maybe a little harder to wrestle in because it was so light. And since it was light, my horns were a bit loose. You know, this one, everything's like solid. Everything's solid. It feels good and it's molded to my face. So if anyone else tries to put it on, it looks weird. So it's actually quite comfortable, this one. And on the inside, there's like comfort material for my skin and everything. So it doesn't affect my face or anything in any bad ways.
Yeah. How heavy is the mask?
It's not too heavy. It's a little heavier than my last. Definitely heavier than a lucha mask. I would say if I had to compare it to something, it's what could I compare it to? Maybe a bottle and a half of water. Yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge the weight, but it's a little heavier than my old mask. I like that. I like that extra weight.
Is it like 2 pounds maybe or a bit more, you think?
Not maybe about a pound and a half, maybe, or a pound.
Oh, yeah. So Big Sam has a question. Is Terry C watching too? I don't know. Is she?
Oh, I have no idea about that. I won't get involved in that.
I was gonna ask who she is, but maybe you don't want to answer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to even ask.
Okay, so you are the head trainer in MKW Wrestling. How has that been going for you? What kind of experience has that been?
So that's been, one of my crown jewel experiences. Wrestling is so new in China. People forget, that it's only 5, maybe 6 years old now, and getting to see these new Chinese wrestlers who are, fresh. They don't know the same things we know back in the States because we can just turn on the TV and watch wrestling. They have to find wrestling, and for somebody to come from a society where they're not as combatant and say, I want to be a wrestler, that does take a lot of courage, So to see these kids for the first time and, train them, they take their first fall, they're learning the ropes. And even with a bit of a language barrier, just seeing their eagerness and seeing their eyes like bright as they're learning this stuff, man, it is amazing. And not only that, I get to train with these kids, but actually seeing them in the live shows and watching their matches, seeing them be charismatic, because your wrestling self is 9 times out of 10 yourself turned up to 11. Yes. And that's one of the biggest challenges with people here, for someone to tell you it's okay to be out, it's okay to be turned up to 11. A lot of my guys are being told, calm down, don't be loud. I tell them the opposite. And to see them on live shows, literally spreading their rings and fans cheering for them, and they actually feel bigger than what they are. It's amazing, man. Like, yeah. I can say that when it's all said and done, I really helped Chinese pro wrestling as a whole by offering my services to, up and coming kids who want to be pro wrestlers and want to make a life out of this.
Yeah. Who's in the MKW roster right now that you've trained? I believe Cam, right?
Cam is one. Cam was wrestling before I, came to China, but he's one, and he's a guy I'm vastly proud of. Man, Cam has come such a long way, and he works so hard. I mean, that guy works it's unbelievable how hard he works, man. It's a crime shame. DC Chin is another guy. He came in and he just had this aura about him. You know, I was like, this kid can make it. He would do these little things, man. Both of them, like with Cam for his size wasn't afraid to do bigger things. Like our gym, we have a really nice sized gym, but you know, this is China, so the ceilings aren't too high. And he's like, I think I can do a moonsault. And he has a perfect moonsault. You know, that's something I would never try that in, you know, a place like that, but he did it. DC Chin is another guy I'm gonna go back to. I told him before, I said, here are 3 wrestlers. I want you to look up Eddie Guerrero, you know, William Regal, you know, Dean Malenko. I want you to look at these smaller guys because you have these tendencies he does. He's exactly like WCW Eddie Guerrero. If you could just see those little things that he does, those little twitches, those little swagger movements, I'm like, I can't teach that. Those are things that just have to come out of you. You know what I mean? So many guys, man. Uncle Money is another one. You know, he was one of the guys I started training when he first started. Just looking at how far he's come in the different countries he's been to. Bamboo Crusher is another one of my guys. He's a guy I put a lot of stock behind. His attitude. I love his attitude. Just seeing him wrestle another student in Nepal, one of the Korean students in Nepal, and just watching them flow together was beautiful, man. It was beautiful to see.
That's awesome. So yeah, we are live with Zombie Dragon. The comment section is still open. So we're gonna go for a few more minutes here, but there's some questions here. Let's take a look. Lam Sun had a question. If we get back to business, who from the MKW roster should challenge you next for the MKW Championship, I assume?
Good question. The very first person that I think I owe a match to, Michael Sue.
Michael Sue. Yeah.
Michael Sue. We gotta have that rematch. We gotta have that rematch. No chairman out. No questions asked. Me and Michael Sue, one-on-one, no outside interference, nobody in our corner, just a straight up one-on-one match. I think he deserves it, and he was the former champion, so rematch clause anyway. After Michael Sue, maybe Big Sam. People have been waiting for that for a very long time.
That's a question. That's a question right there.
I think he just gave me the same question.
There you go.
Michael Sue, Big Sam, and number 3. Who would be lucky number 3? I've already beaten Uncle Money, so I don't want to wrestle him. Let's see.
You taught him everything he knows.
I want to do. Yeah, I taught him everything he knows. That would be an easy win. I'm gonna say it will be between Cam Ferguson, just based on the work he's put in. I think he would deserve a shot at the championship. It will be between Cam Ferguson and Mad Dog Connor, because Connor, I want to say before the quarantine, I don't know what happened, man, but he lit a fire under himself and he went out and he just started wrestling everywhere, killing it. So he's someone else I think I would also offer that opportunity to.
Nice. Okay, so some more comments here. Yeah, Mike said Cam and DC are ridiculous. First sensible thing Mike has said in a while. Just kidding with you, Mike. So Lam Sun wants to see Michael Sue versus Zombie Dragon for the MKW title.
Absolutely.
Chairman Al has a question. What do you think of us teaming together in Japan, Zombie? Chairman Al.
Well, it was more of you following me than us teaming up. Yeah. You know, the first time was okay. The second time, not so much. If you remember, I won the first time. The second time, Chairman Al got involved. Things didn't exactly go my way. So I would say it's one of those one night stands, I guess you can call it.
One night in Japan, as he mentioned.
One night in Tokyo.
Terry C is watching. There you go. I'm a proud fan of Zombie Dragon.
I'm a fan for the
Oops, sorry. Put it back up.
Hello, Terry.
All right. I think that's all the question. Any more questions out there? We might end it pretty soon. And before we're about to end things pretty soon. Where can we find you on social media? Anything to plug for Zombie Dragon?
Yes, I have too much social media. All right, guys, you can find me on Facebook as Zombie Dragon, or you can search my page, Alberto Del Curry. You can find me on Twitter as TH3 Zombie Dragon. My Twitter is a little bit shaky, so I may not respond. And Instagram as the Zombie Dragon. You can find me on all three of those.
All right, make sure you guys follow Zombie Dragon on social media, and of course, this might be uploaded on YouTube later. But just in case you haven't followed or liked MKW's Facebook page, Facebook and Instagram is /MKW China. We're almost at 10,000 likes for Facebook, so make sure you like us. Hopefully, we'll get to 10,000 by June. And YouTube is Middle Kingdom Wrestling. Twitter is @MKW Wrestling. And of course, if you want to follow me on Twitter, is @Leung. So let's see. Are there any more questions here? So yeah, you won the MKW Championship back in December. You've been a fighting champion. I believe you defended the title in the States and then in Thailand.
Yes.
What has that journey been so far? And you haven't been able to defend a title in China due to the pandemic.
Right. So, due to the pandemic, I haven't been able to defend it. But as soon as I won it, I want to say December 14th. And then I flew right to the States that same weekend and defended it. Pro South Wrestling, which is in Alabama in the States. And then I defended it in AWE, not to be confused with AEW, AWE, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, against Nick Iggy. And then from there, I flew to Thailand to wrestle for Setup Pro in Thailand against Azura. And after that, I had another defense that was going to be a three-way in Thailand and possibly a defense in Malaysia, but everything was cut short after the match in January. So I haven't been able to defend it, but I definitely had matches on the schedule to defend it because, being a world champion, I know we throw that word around a lot. I wanted to bring a real, true meaning to the part of the world part of being a champion. So at least I got to, do something in China, US, and Thailand. Hopefully when everything opens back up, I can start hitting those shows back and, get my reps in.
Get your reps in. Yeah, you've been a fighting champion for sure. And, you're right about that because a lot of independent wrestling companies, they claim it's a world champion, but you are actually defending it all around the world, which makes the MKW World Championship that much more prestigious. Let's see what we have.
Absolutely.
I think it's a comment from Aziz. The pandemic has changed the entire landscape for everyone, not just wrestling alone. WWE, for example, has attempted to introduce cinematic format to their product. NWA debuted Carneyland. AEW has their colleagues playing audience. How do you see wrestling in Southeast Asia progressing in the next 1 or 2 years? Thank you for that, Aziz.
All right. That was a good question. So as far as wrestling in Southeast, I'm going to talk about, I guess, China first. With China, I think it's going to progress naturally well. And the reason I say that is MKW, they've been the, no pun intended, stable part of China. Before I came, that's when I looked up wrestling in China, and I found MKW. And I look at how they progressed. I looked at each Shenzhen show. And I looked at the first one, and then I looked at the last one. They're like day and night. They elevated so much. So if you give a company like MKW a year or two, holy crap, You know what I mean? And that's no offense to the other promotions who are or were in China, but they aren't mainstays yet. So I think in a year or two, regardless of the pandemic, I think MKW will find a way to not only entertain the fans, but reemerge, so to speak, and keep everything alive. As far as Southeast Asia, I think everyone will recruit. Looking at Japan and seeing how they already have a few live events that are back open, I think with the pride and everything there, they're going to be the first to maybe get everything, fully back on track, and then everyone else will probably follow suit, and everything will be okay.
That's pretty good. And let me see what I have here. All right, we'll have to end it pretty soon. I guess I'll have my last question here. Before my last question, yeah, make sure you guys like, follow, and share this video on Facebook. Once it's uploaded on YouTube, do the same. And if there's any future guests that you want to see, make sure you put that in the comment section. And just to announce, next week, I believe it's going to be the same time. I'm going to double check with her. We're going to have Crystal from Philippines Wrestling Revolution, PWR. She's going to be our next guest for Chinese Wrestling Sit Down. Zombie Dragon, thank you so much for being here. I don't think there's any more questions here, but my last question actually stems from about a year ago. Last year, April, during April Fool's time, you had a picture that says Zombie Dragon is all elite or something.
Yeah.
Good one. But, actually, I didn't feel I guess I was fooled, but I didn't feel I was fooled because I thought you have the character, you have the attitude, you have the skills to be all elite, to be in AEW. So I actually believed that. I congratulated you. So and then looking back, I believe you took it down, or maybe you apologized, and because a lot of people believed it. So
yeah, man.
In hindsight, do you regret doing that? And what was your motivation for doing that? Like, just no,
I don't regret. Somebody else. I think maybe it was JB. I can't remember who made it for me. Somebody made it for me, and I don't regret doing it. It was pretty funny, but I'm actually glad I did it because it showed just how many people really do believe in the character. You know what I mean? It showed just how many people were truly behind me, And the only reason I took it down because I was like, oh man, people are like, oh, we really wish. But I was really fortunate, man. Like seeing all the people come to bat for me. And after I posted that, there's a group that I'm a part of called the NAAW, and they constantly would push me, push my name and a few others on Twitter, like sign this person, sign this person. You need Zombie Dragon. Look at him. Put him with Luchasaurus. Hire this guy. And believe it or not, these last few episodes of Dynamite, I've seen wrestlers from my state, all on Dynamite. Alan Angels, Shug Dunkerton, different guy, or Pineapple Pete, so to speak. And I was like, man, like my guys are getting it, man. So I know one day it will come full circle, and hopefully we could do something with AEW. Maybe they would like to re-enter the market of China. And again, we're the mainstay, so I wouldn't mind like maybe working on something with them after this pandemic is over. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Al, Chairman Al has interjected himself with this question. All right, this will be the last question.
Okay.
That's a hard no, right?
Are you ready to ally yourself with Chairman Al? No, absolutely not. That is a capital X. I am not ready.
Capital N and X. All right. Thank you very much, Zombie Dragon, for being here on Chinese Wrestling Sit Down, MKW. And thank you for everybody who watched live. This video will be uploaded on YouTube. And remember, next week we will have Crystal from PWR. I believe it's going to be the same time on Thursday, but I got to double check with her. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Zombie Dragon. And yeah, we'll see you next week with Crystal. Have a good one.
All right. See you, man.